Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored. And don't forget, by the way, to rate, review, and subscribe. If you love this show, which you all tell me to do, just press the subscribe button. Oh, gosh, there we go. Subscribe button and keep us going. So, what am I going to talk about today? So, actually, sitting in bed in my parents' house in the countryside, and I've got friends staying as well next door. They can probably hear this. Walls are paper thin, thinking about the differences of life in the countryside in the UK to the way I live my life now compared to the rest of my family. So I have literally just spent the last 2 days visiting my sister-in-law, well, my ex-sister-in-law that you all out there think that is my sister because she's called Sophie Stanbury. My brother is coming tomorrow. My other brother I'm speaking to. Who else have I seen? I've seen friends down here. We've been running around the countryside having a wonderful time. The founder of Reebok is sleeping that room behind me. And it's just, I'm having a really lovely time. And I get asked all the time. And actually on my Instagram, everyone's going, oh, wouldn't you move back? Wouldn't you move back? Don't you want to go home? Don't you want to be in the British countryside? No is the answer. No, no. Gosh, sorry about that. No, no, no. And for a multitude of reasons. Number one, here, honestly, everything's so hard. It's so bloody hard. First of all, the weather. What are we now, people? We are is it June? Yeah, we're mid-June and it's pouring with rain and I'm in a sweater. Okay, I'm in sweaters, I'm in jeans, it's freezing. Um, and if you live in the countryside, which my sister-in-law, by the way, swears by it. She's just bought a house in the Cotswolds. She absolutely loves it. Got herself a pony. Goes to Bamford, Dalesford on the weekend, goes to a gym class, has a little this smoothie, meets her girlfriends, picks up her son, drives 40 minutes here, gets a blow dry. I don't know. The most ideal life, I guess, we could all dream of, or the one that we all dreamed of growing up. But for me, it's just like, it's still a hard no. Like there's no one around. You have to drive everywhere. You can't just pop downstairs and get something. When I leave my house in a golf buggy. Like everything's slightly dark here. The streets are dark. It's not lit up. I feel like everything's brown, like all stone on the floor. That's the way everyone lives, and I feel cold. And it just makes me realize how much in my head I've left the UK. Like I left it a long time ago, and I always believe, and I've always said that, and I stand by it, that once you make a decision, you should stand by it and go forward anyway. I think it would be a massive step backwards for me. Not saying that's not growth for other people. She moved out of London, and this is a massive step forward for her. And this is something she's bringing up her children in a different way. I look at it and the opportunities my children are having right now. I just literally paid for my son's school trip and he's going to Japan. Like Japan. It's just it's a different mindset. It's a different way of life. And I was talking today to the founder of Reebok, actually, who's staying with us. And we were looking back at when he started his business. And when was it, Sergio? 1940 something. He's 90 when Joe started Reebok.
Oh, at 23.
He was 23, but 1940 something.
Yeah, 1945.
No, 1945. And obviously, there was no seed money and there was no, raising money and all of these kind of things. So, you building a brand in a different world. And I don't know I see schooling a different way. Like, I find it really hard to pressure my children to learn all these things when, as a woman in business who's done specifically quite well, and I've run businesses, I've built businesses, and I've built them off tenacity, hard work. And obviously, when you go into a business, I've always maintained that, number one, you need to have conviction on what you're doing. Number two, you need to have passion. Number three, you need to hire people better than you. So for that, I didn't need chemistry. I didn't need all of Latin. I didn't need to be put through years of torture at school, which is really what I found it, torture, in cold school rooms with like people that sort of, well, caned you if you put a foot out of place. And I just feel like Dubai gives you this different way of life because it is so fast moving. And my son is now moving to another school in Dubai right now, an American curriculum. And there's like robots serving them things. You walk into the classrooms or the school and you see that they've got podcast rooms. Like they're really relevant fucking things. They're things that I see and I'm like, oh my God. I said to my son, I wonder if I can use that podcast room. Like, and I'm looking at the equipment with my husband going, oh, do we have that? Do we have that? Like I'm learning something, like I'm sucking up that environment. Whereas I go into English, as today we went to an incredible old English country manor called Estelle Manor. And down here, it's all sort of very shishi. Like Sergio was playing paddle yesterday, and he saw Ellen DeGeneres was in the next court, and there's who else? The founder of one of the guys from Shark Tank was there. And down here, it's incredibly Gymshark. Sorry. Down here, it's incredibly shishi. Like everybody lives down here. Everybody's sort of has these beautiful stone cottages, and it's amazing to live here. Don't get me wrong, I love it, and I'm probably going to get strung up for this. But I do feel it's like the more money you have down here, the less you're allowed to show it, right? So you literally have stone floors, you turn off the heating, it's a little bit dark, everything's chipped, the dogs, are up on your sofas are grey, not white, it's cold, what else? It's just different. Whereas in Dubai, it's like living in a 5-star luxury hotel. I mean, you're lucky if you can get a housekeeper down here once a week. My housekeeper wakes me up with a smoothie at 6 a.m. in the morning with a smile, and she's okay with it. Like, it's just a different way. Like, life is set up for me, whereas life is set up for everybody else here, I think. I don't want to spend half my day driving my kids back and forth to school. I don't. I've got other things that I could be doing with that time that would be far more productive for my family than spending it in traffic. And I know that sounds awful, but my family is not going to benefit any more for me spending 2 hours by myself queuing to pick them up in traffic when I could be doing exactly what I'm doing right now, which is hustling and, building my business, which I have become, and Dubai has allowed me the freedom to be able to outsource all the things that took up my time and that were a waste of my resources, to be able to sit down and actually build businesses that are powerful and that will impact my children in many ways. Like, I never worry about what my children are going to do later, because at the end of the day, I've built quite a few businesses that they can be part of, and I'm incredibly proud of. Like, even Sergio's family is now fully into Bali with us, and then we have part of his family coming into the wellness brand with us, and my kids can do it, and I'm teaching them how to leverage what they have to be able to build a successful career for themselves. So I think the English system is broken somehow. Like, I just don't understand how holding people back and tying them to a system that's archaic, frankly, is going to push people to think outside the box, to, I've always said the odds are so firmly stacked here against the employer, and the employees don't see that. They always think it's the employee that has the bad run of it. But really, it's very hard to be profitable as a business here, because there are so many rules and regulations and taxes today to maintain a workforce. And, I think Dubai is like, it just gives you, even though you're doing maybe the same dull job, somehow, because you're doing it in the sun and you're doing it in an efficient way, and life is safe, and you're not worrying about whether you wear a ring down the road. Like, literally every time I come to London, Sergio makes me take off my handbags, my jewelry, all the things I've worked hard for. And I know they're shallow, it's not about that. But I should have a choice, that if I want to put on my wedding ring the first day, he made me take off my wedding ring. I've never not worn my wedding ring in however long, but I can't wear it in London because he feels like it's asking for trouble. You guys out there were watching my stories going, oh God, don't hold your phone like that. Don't hold your phone like that. They're going to take it from you. What a terrible way to live. Why Why would I pay 40% of my income to a government and live like that? It makes absolutely zero sense to me. I'm sitting here with my mother yesterday, and this is one thing that really gets up my nose, which is inheritance tax. And it's not because I'm going to inherit a shitload of money or anything like that, but for anyone, you have already paid tax on your money. Make it make sense. You're taxed 40%, then when you die, you're taxed another 40%, so your children can't have it. Like, why? How is that legal? How is that right? Like, I don't understand why you would sit here and let that happen. I don't understand how anyone's still in the UK anymore. And again, this is something I'm a royalist. Love the royal family. It's something that, I grew up with, so it's incredibly important to me. I love the Queen. I loved Princess Diana. I mean, maybe what's gone on lately isn't the best look for us all, but at the end of the day, I'd be very sad to lose the royal family. I love British culture because I think a lot of countries don't have that. I love seeing the beef eaters. I love, the changing of the guard. Oh my God, you can't, I'm British. When Sergio went to the members club today, he couldn't believe the building. And I was like, and he couldn't understand why I wasn't, gasping and umming and ahhing. And I would go, because that's where I went to school. I went to school in one of these buildings. I lived in one of these buildings my entire life. I grew up in castles and things like this because that's just what the school system was like. They were all these old country houses and with these giant, beautiful gardens that we take for granted and that nowhere else in the world really has. They emulate them, but they're not, really from that. I mean, everybody tries to emulate a beautiful British garden or, a beautiful British country house and preserve that sort of feeling of that glamour that we used to have with butlers and maids and unpacking trunks and that sort of old English history that is slowly becoming obsolete, I suppose. But I do feel like where I am right now, like the Cotswolds does take you back in time. Like you feel like you've entered a different era. You feel like you're in a different world. And it is amazing, but my God, it's expensive too. We just went to lunch today and, just a pub lunch was £900 for lunch. So £900 and then you're taxed 40%. It's nuts. And plus, joining all of these members clubs. I think Dubai is something that gives you that sort of bang for your buck. Like for the lifestyle you get people, you get a lifestyle. That's what you get. A lifestyle. You see my lifestyle. I think here you don't see a lifestyle. There are people far richer than me here living far worse off. And I say it actually to my girlfriend, even who's in LA, and she has like this huge house in Los Angeles. And she has one member of staff who's grumpy as fuck and affects the entire house mood. Like we are literally tiptoeing around the house and she can't get rid of her because of, whatever the laws or whatever, and so you're hostage in your own home. And I think the thing is in Dubai, like my housekeeper's been with me, I don't know how many years now, but probably 3 or 4. My driver's been with me 9 years, and I got them their own apartment, and they've got like a swimming pool, and they've got like a spa in there, because eventually it will of course come back to me and it will be for my guests or whatever later, but right now I don't need it. And so, they live well and I can treat them well and they eat, obviously in Dubai, what happens is they don't have any costs, right? So we pay for their flights home, we pay for their food, we pay for their phone bills, we pay for their travel. So they live, they live nice lives. So they are happy to be there. They have a good job. They are, serving you because they are happy to serve you. They're not unhappy. Dubai is, I mean, what are the downsides? I mean, I guess I can't bear all these sort of ladies at lunch all the time. That's not what I want to do, all these parties. And I suppose you guys see the sort of lower side of the brunches and the crazy party side all the time, but I really don't live that lifestyle. So I have this country life, where I live, there's a little beach, so I can just take my golf cart, go to the beach. I can take my golf cart and get my nails done. I can take my golf cart and get my hair done. I don't have to leave there if I don't want to. I don't have to see anyone. We all keep ourselves to ourselves. I have running water. I can walk around. I don't need a key. Although after I've done all these podcasts, I now have a key. So no point coming to my house. I have a key. But, technically you don't need a key. It's what I mean. It's a metaphor, right? It's safe. It's really safe. Dubai is glamorous. You want to get up. Like, you don't want to just put on a tracksuit. It's heels at breakfast. You can get up and dress, or you can wear tracksuits and use dry shampoo, and that's also acceptable. West London, I think if you get up in heels, people look at you like, what are you doing? In Dubai, you can wear couture and you don't feel overdressed, or you can wear jeans to the same thing. Like, it's really whatever you want it to be. And I think because it's such a melting pot of so many different backgrounds, um, colors, cultures, you really see acceptance everywhere. It's the one thing, I think, or the one place that you really are accepted for who you are, and you can become whoever you want to be. And that's something that maybe the British culture doesn't allow you, because rather than money, I've always said you can't buy your way into society. You either are society or you're not. And in Dubai, you can buy your way into society. So I think that's one giant, giant difference. Dubai's whole structure is built on entrepreneurs, and for entrepreneurs. There's no tax, there's fewer rules, there's endless networking that can be done. Whereas in the UK, there's so much red tape to go through. There's more history, heritage, and, there's so much more tradition built into businesses. And a lot of people build businesses off old businesses. And I also actually, me personally, I actually listened to Omar O'Grady the other day and really, really tend to agree with her. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions and things that hold yourself back. Because starting my first business, I remember, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it, right? And then when you don't know it, you're sort of held hostage by people that tell you that you need them. And I've understood the most important person in a business, the only person that you need to rely on, is yourself. And everyone else is replaceable. And the quicker that you're able to replace staff and to grow and to cut off a limb, as it were, if you become stagnant, the quicker you can save and maneuver your business. And the most important thing, and I think the red tape holds you back from that. We don't have that in Dubai. You need to grow, you need to change structure, you need to move fast, you can. Are employees protected? They are. They have different employee protections, but it doesn't make it impossible to outmaneuver employees, and to be able to move your business forward, which, to be a proper entrepreneur, you need to be able to do that. You must be able to do that. If you're tied to old rules and old habits that you can't, then it becomes impossible to grow and to become part of the new world, which is literally day to day moving and growing. And that's what I want to teach my children. I don't really see how biology or physics or chemistry is going to do that for them. The most important things I feel like today is to value, connections, talking, that they can move into a room and speak to anyone, that they can speak languages, that they're sociable. And I think Dubai has taught them, or has given them, the skill set of networking, which, being in a room, and the room, my kids might be in a class with a prince, and then they could be in a class with a founder of this or that, and they are moving around in these circles where they are learning to be accepted, to talk, to understand what the parents are doing, to travel, and to see all these things that, just don't happen anywhere else in the world. And there it is, just a completely different mindset. British people are more reserved. They like to sort of stick to one circle. Whereas Dubai is full of expats, and it's all about meeting each other and helping each other, and giving each other, I would say, a bit of a leg up, or, look, mate, I know this person, I know that person, and I can help you here. And that's something that I've really appreciated along the way, is being able to, call up anyone, because in England, as I said, it's more about families and where you come from before anyone will pick up the phone and answer to you. Whereas I think in Dubai, it's you're one connection away from meeting the person you need to get to. It's much easier. You're so looked after. Whereas in the UK, I think you just have to figure it out. It's sink or swim, and Dubai has absolutely given me the space to reinvent myself. I think when I left the UK was probably the lowest point of my life, as in, I wasn't happy in my marriage. I was losing my business. My TV show had ended. I really, really genuinely didn't know who I was or what I wanted to be or what my next step was in life. And I think the UK held me into this thing because no matter what, you Google me, you had an opinion of me. My friends knew me since I was, little. And so as much as I want to say, today I'm a strawberry and tomorrow I'm a tomato, for them I'm always going to be the strawberry. So, I could never turn myself into that tomato. Whereas the moment I stepped foot in Dubai, I was a reality star. For them, I was this big star that was just, there wasn't anybody like me. So when I landed, I was a big fucking deal. And that gave me the balls to go, actually, you know what? I am a big deal. Okay, so what? I've had a bad time. So what? I'm losing lost my business. It wasn't my fault, to be fair. But, look, even if I take responsibility for all the actions, which was probably being greedy, probably taking on too many partners, probably, losing the love of the business, if I take responsibility for my part, the best thing that, even though I couldn't see it at the time, the best thing that ever happened to me was probably losing that business and making the move to Dubai. Because if I hadn't have lost that business and been as sad and low as I was, I wouldn't have moved to Dubai. I would still be running that business, because those of you know that a business that size, once you're in it, you can't get out of it because you've got other people's money. And I would probably never have left my ex-husband, which again, who knows whether we would have, you could reconnect with each other, because I think at that time we were in different spaces of our lives. We've both now have matured in such a way that we get on very well and we're all fine. But, who knows where my life would have been with him, because I wouldn't have had that life. I would never have met Sergio. I would never have had this chapter, and I would never have turned myself into this, real estate mogul, which I'm now trying to do and, actually doing somehow and loving every minute of it, and I, again, tell you all, that's nothing that I learnt in school, nothing that British society has brought me up with. And so I do hope that I'm bringing up my children and I'm bringing them in a different way. And the funny thing is, everyone that's I'm coming back here to London with, everybody is saying that, in a few years, they're actually going to have to be in the Middle East anyway. It's either Middle East or Monaco, because, all these Londoners making it so impossible to stay, rich or poor. It's becoming unlivable. And so everyone's leaving in droves as it is. So I just feel things would change. If I had a baby with Sergio now, how would I bring them up? Well, I'd bring him up as a child of the world. I don't think I would put him in school. I think I would homeschool him, honestly, because there is nothing that I haven't been through, or Sergio, that I feel that is so needed. As long as you can read, write, learn business, learn communications, learn, to get on in life, and learn to, be self-sufficient. I think that is all you can wish for your children, whilst giving them peace. Why do they need to be brought up in a society that is, punishing them for, like, one day of exams for a year of their work? It makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't like the British tradition anymore, other than the royal family. I don't really see that I belong here anymore. I've always thought that I would go forward. I always think to grow, you need to go on. Where will I end up? I have no clue. I have no clue, but I know it won't be back in England. Do I love to visit? Do I love the British countryside? Do I love that I was brought up here? It was my heritage. It's why all of you out there love me. It's given me the strength to become the woman I am today. All of those things, I'm forever grateful for. Do I feel inherently British? Of course I do. And I sound it. I am it. I love it, but I will never come back here. I want to end my days on a beach, looking out to sea in a much easier world. I don't want to be shoved into a nursing home, in some dreadful, dreary place that, for half the year I can't get outside. Sorry. I want to be out on the beach, where even if, on my lowest day, I'll be fine. I'll feel happy. I'll want to get up. I want to see a palm tree. I want to see birds. I want to see, all of these things. I want to hear water, and I'm sure of that. And that's really refreshing. And when I hear my mum speak about why she's never lived her dreams because she's waiting for the kids to all grow up. And now, of course, she's too bloody old. She was saying to me today that, Sergio and I, we've been on these trips and all the travel we've done. It's so English, isn't it? To sacrifice your life for your children. Sacrifice. Like she wanted to go to Machu Picchu, and she was like, well, I guess it's too late now because my father's 81 and he can't walk. And I'm like, well, not really. No, it's not too late. Of course you can go to Machu Picchu. When? And who with? And there's just a million reasons why. And then there's another million reasons why she can't move to Dubai because her grandchildren and her other grandchildren. It's like, and it's exhausting because, but then she sits here and she's looking outside going, well, there's nothing to do. Where she could be, if you're not doing anything, wouldn't you rather be not doing anything on a beach? I mean, I just don't get it. I want to slap half the people here and go, wake up, you're missing your lives. You're missing your lives. Who wants to knit at home for the next 10 years? Nobody. Like, get up and make the move. What are you so scared of? I don't understand this. Like, but my friends are here. What friends? Like, your friends will visit. I've never not known a friend. I can't get the people out of my bloody house. We have friends constantly in our house. I wish we had less friends. I mean, it's madness. If my mum had a little, oh, by the way, like, how is she going to afford a full-time nurse when my dad can't actually do anything? So, you think you've got a life now. She's going to have no life. Absolutely no life looking after him. But if she was in Dubai, in a lovely apartment overlooking the beach, Dad would just sit on the balcony in the sun, get his vitamin D, have a lovely nurse looking after him, someone taking care of him, making sure he was okay. And Mum would probably be going out to dinners with friends and like seeing people. Like, it drives me nuts. And then to know that the government's probably going to take half her money again. Anyway, rant over, but I don't understand what is so appealing about the UK right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I've caused a shitstorm over there, I don't know. But like, again, I can appreciate it. I love the old stately homes. I definitely grew up that way, but again, it's like you're a slave to your house. My house, I lock it up, I go away. I can go away for 2 months and not worry about it. Stately homes, one thing breaks down, you have to replace the whole roof, you have to replace the floors. It's just, I don't want to live that way. And I think that way of living is so old school. And I think we have had it drop. We've been programmed. That's what it is. The British are programmed that is the only way to live. And the rest of the world are crazy. Well, I'm here to say, I think you're nuts. Thank you for listening to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored. And for all my British friends out there, I love you. I see you, and see you in Dubai.